Welcome, everyone, to Myth Informed
with your hosts,
Dimitri and Sean. Today we got with us the one and only Rucka Rucka Ali. Probably see him on the screen if everything's working.
There really is only one of him.
There really is.
Ever.
Rucka, how you doing?
This is true. Hey, guys. Great to be here, Tom. Thanks for having me. I've got the actual window opened up of the actual show right now. It's playing in my headphones. It's very upsetting, but I've got the situation under control now. We do have super chats open. If any of you have a comment to leave, please go ahead and purchase your place on the show. We'll be happy to read your comments.
We would be happy to read them. However, we never get them.
You're very underrated, Rucka, in how, undercover funny you are.
Thank you. That really means a lot. Appreciate that.
coming from Dima. So today we are excited. We haven't been on the show in like a month. Dima, you haven't been here in like 6.
Fucking 6 months.
But we launched a new event, and we're going to talk about it today.
We did?
Yeah, and we're going to get Rucka's uncensored opinions on this. It's always fun doing it with Rucka because he does not
Rucka
hold
just
back.
released footage from the last event, so this is
That's
on the heels
true.
of that.
That was...
In other words, I released footage as soon as it was made available to me.
Yes. We promise that won't happen
You have to
again.
do
That
a lot
was-
of editing.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, next time you guys are in charge of the camera footage, it'll be
Please.
released like later that day.
Yeah, we already got
Exactly.
it. We already got it handled for this one. So
No.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Yeah.
event is called
Better discourse. Better discourse.
Better Discourse. And we are competing directly with the DNC, like they care about us.
They're not really competing. They're going to be lame.
They're,
They
yeah,
won't.
yeah.
So-
And the interesting thing with this is the DNC committee has the whole city on lockdown. All the venues are blacked out. The hotels are blacked out. The only reason we got one is because we worked connections that we have because we live here.
One might call it fascistic.
A little bit.
Little bit.
So, yeah, so we're excited. So,
It's like the government takes over and then doesn't allow free enterprise to flourish, that type of thing.
the government, for those that don't know, the government being, well, the DNC committee, if you want to call it the government, they brought all the businesses in Milwaukee together at the Pfizer Forum and told them, hey, black out these dates. We promise we can. You guys are going to get twice to
Gazillions
three
of
times
dollars.
to 3 times the normal asking rate. So, yeah, so that's what we're dealing with. Rucka, what do you think about that as an objectivist?
I think it's what you get when the government is involved with more than protecting your rights. When the government becomes in the business of giving us stuff, of making all types of promises, of redistributing things, then we're incentivized to form groups. We're incentivized to invent groups, invent new ethnic groups I never heard of, invent new initiatives, invent all types of collectives, because the individual now means nothing. The individual is the sacrificial skin and bones for us to cannibalize so that the group can benefit. And this is what you get. This is what you get.
Counterpoint, even if that wasn't the case, we'd still make groups.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Fascinating. But now you're incentivized to invent groups and to lobby the government to point their gun at somebody and take their shit away. But I guess we would have friends in a free society, and we might have a family in a free society, so I guess it's all the same, right?
Rucka, I just want you to know.
We're 3 minutes into this fucking show, and I'm already pissed off.
Well, I just want you to know, like, we're your friends. We're not trying to make you upset here.
It's good to have friends in this world.
Speak for yourself. I love them this way.
Yeah, I know. This will devolve into you guys arguing. Yeah, no, but we got lucky. We got lucky with this venue and with the hotel. Very, very lucky. I had to scratch and claw my way to getting it. So we're excited. We got 20 speakers. And we're just going to cover...
And still more to be announced.
Yeah, we want to cover the panels a little bit and kind of just see what Rucka's reaction is to it, as his channel's called.
So
Rucka Reacts. Let's get some reactions.
Trying to plug his channel.
And
yeah, guys, I was
simultaneously-
hoping you guys can give me a plug. I really was hoping to get a chance to pimp the channel. Can we do that?
Son of a bitch.
I just noticed today, you have a decent amount of subs on your I Am Rucka.
How did you just notice that?
That's pretty wild. Because I remember back in the day, which was last year, we were doing this, and I'm pretty sure you weren't at 1 million, and it was like a big deal.
Yeah, he
which,
was.
Of course.
He was at 1 million last year.
I don't think so.
Rucka, where were you at?
About 1 million.
Yeah,
It was like
don't
9.
pay
It was like
attention.
ticking up. It was ticking up.
It was like about a year. I think it was over a year ago that I got 1 million subs. But
Yeah.
then what YouTube did, being
Yeah.
the heroes they are, they said, "Hey, musicians, we're now taking all your channels and merging them together." So
Yep.
they took every channel where I have ever
Yep.
uploaded music videos are now almost all of them are merged as one. So that's kind of interesting.
No, that's
and
true.
Now,
And
and now
it's-
I have more subscribers. Overnight, I went from 1 million to like 1.3 million.
Yeah,
Okay, see?
but the
Thank
only
you.
the
That's
only
what
the
happened.
only problem was it makes it confusing a little bit. Like they really screwed up the like timeline with your songs. They're kind of all over the place now.
No, they're not. They're in chronological order.
You're talking
I
to
don't think
someone
so.
who wakes up listening to your music and goes
That's
to sleep
true.
with it. So
And yet somehow still doesn't know what order they're in. But you know these all channels, not just music, they
insane.
kind of jumble up. They create these playlists algorithmically. They show you one that like most popular or
Yeah.
here's what we thought you want to watch next. You know, none of it makes sense, but you can click on uploads and it just they're all in perfect order. What more do you ask?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I have not experienced that. I
big-
saw like your China na 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 one next to what the blacks say.
what I want to know is if you're going to make a channel specifically for kids. Now that we've got these new settings, I really feel like you should be teaching the next generation how to be, really selfish, but in a good way, rather than what they teach up in the schools. I feel like that's really what's
that's a
missing.
great idea. Somebody actually
Where you
showed
at?
me on Twitter. One of my songs was marked as for kids.
Was it
Earlier
really?
today, like I had this song that's sort of a parody of the Barney the dinosaur theme song. It was the intro to one of my albums, which that album was sort of themed on making fun of children's music and entertainment. And I went to where that song is on YouTube through like the automatic audio aggregator thing on YouTube. And yeah, it's marked for kids. So I
Interesting.
downloaded the YouTube Kids app and I created an account and I looked myself up and it's luckily not showing up on that app because
Good.
Jesus, as much as we all are hurting for views these days, I don't know if that song in particular is right for a children's app. And
Well, that's a good point.
so now you can't comment on that song on YouTube. You can't, I think, thumbs up or thumbs down it anymore.
Really?
There's a whole new thing now with
Well,
children's.
and the whole legal thing now, you have to make sure you click the not for kids on every video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I've always put a disclaimer on my videos that says not for kids
Yep.
anyway, but I've
Right.
marked all my music channels and my commentary channel as not for kids.
No,
Obviously,
smart.
nobody's going to mistake the commentary channel for children's stuff because it's clearly for seasoned PhDs.
Yes.
Seasoned
exactly.
thinkers.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, seasoned.
Yeah.
But if you were to dumb it down a little, for the average child, think of it.
I appreciate your concern that you don't that you feel I'm too sophisticated. I'm gonna take that into account. Thank you for the feedback.
Yes.
As that girl told Tim Pool.
That's
Thank you for the feedback.
Thank you. Thank you for your feedback. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. So I want to cover these panels, and those in the chat, give us some ideas. We got some TBAs here, and Rucka, I'd love to hear your TBAs suggestions, but we'll start with the first one. Should we care if corporations take socio-political stances? Rucka is on that one, and we'll let him vent about why he shouldn't be on that one. And then Ron Placone, who is a progressive comedian out of L.A., friends with Graham Elwood and Jimmy Dore. He's on Jimmy Dore's show a lot. And then we got two TBAs there. Rucka, what do you think?
I think it's an excellent idea to put me on the panel about corporate activism. It's such a great idea that we actually did it at Minds IRL. It's such a great panel that I already did it the first time. So props,
Keep it
kudos
coming.
for you to have the foresight to put me on this panel a year early.
Hey, when we talk about creativity, we rank high in creativity. I will say though, out of the surveys, we do the surveys every year for the attendees, and you and Graham actually were probably the highest rated. People wanted to see more of that.
And it was more like, hey, we gave him a shot at it. It was like a practice swing. Let's really bring it home with this second one. That's really
That's what it was.
Coming at from.
Yeah, that's what it was. They said do it again, so that's what we're doing. No, they didn't say that. Who else do you want on that panel, Rucka?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess me and Sargon are still due for a little sumo wrestling, aren't we?
Yeah, but Sargon's on a different panel.
I know. We got to hear him on immigration. What the fuck do you need to hear his opinion about that? He doesn't even live here.
Right, but you don't think the UK has immigration issues?
I don't care. This is America. This is the DNC city. What the fuck are we talking to a British guy about immigration?
Also,
and you've got a Canadian on the same panel.
Well, we're
Can we get
jumping
one
ahead.
goddamn red-blooded American man?
You're an immigrant. You're not even
No,
American.
I'm not. I'm not an immigrant. I am a natural-born citizen.
You are?
What about you, Dimitri? You want to throw stones in this glass house?
I am
I thought-
definitely an immigrant.
What about you, Sean? I'm looking at you.
Hey,
You do
I was-
not look like
I
you
was-
were born in this country.
I was born in Chicago.
This Mexican was born here.
All right, that's a village in Africa.
I thought you were born in
born in
Jerusalem.
Israel.
What are you? Yeah,
I was born a citizen.
in
yeah,
in
but
Israel.
doesn't count.
Is that okay with you? I was
No.
still born a citizen.
I'm just
that
saying.
doesn't count?
How?
It counts according to the law. I'm not the one who gets to call it.
No, of course. I mean, you get to
Whoa, whoa,
vote
whoa,
in your
whoa.
little
That's-
shit,
I'm not
but
an
you know,
immigrant.
you're not. You know,
I am the face of the American dream. I am America.
Are Jews allowed to be faces of the American dream?
Why not?
Is that
I
a
imagine
thing?
that phrase was invented by a Jew.
Probably, actually.
That's probably true. So you don't have any other suggestions for that panel?
Who else is going to be there?
Well, that's the whole thing.
a secret. We'll
That's
find
the whole-
out
that's the
New
whole
York
thing.
Times
It's
Day. So
like,
what do you want me to do? All right, tell me who's there. Tell me who's coming, and that's
Well,
what
no,
we're
no,
allowed to
no,
talk
no.
about.
The
and I'll
people
tell
that
you
are
who
coming-
I want.
the
What am I supposed to do? Just start pulling names out of the thin air?
Please.
Yes.
Names out of thin air. We're trying to
All
think
right, let's
of
get
who-
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay,
He's an
there we go.
immigrant.
See, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That'd be
Ano-
good.
Another immigrant.
Another.
Listen,
immigrant.
you have a panel on racial
He doesn't
equity.
know any Americans. That's the problem.
Yes,
You
we.
have a panel on racism.
No.
And now you've got
Yes.
the guy who, if you Google racism, I pop up, and you're not even putting me on that panel. Who are you putting on? An Asian girl. Who the fuck wants to hear what some Asian girl has to say about racism? Nobody.
This is exactly why we should have Russia on one of these panels. Rucka on the racism panel.
No, we've
mean,
decided against
I
it.
guess
Interesting.
seems like a bad decision.
So, what are the primary obstacles in achieving racial equity? That is in the next panel, since we want to talk about it. Melissa Chen's on it. Are there any? And check the chat. Make sure. See if they got names like for us. Oh, Brian's on. Okay, good. So, what are the primary obstacles in achieving racial equity? Melissa Chen's on that one right now. We have some people in mind.
At
for
least
that one.
a couple years ago, you had some black guy up there, and
That's true. We could have another
and
black guy
some
this
black
time.
girl on there, and that was fun. That was exciting. Who the fuck wants to hear like a whole panel? Anyway, it'll probably be good. I hate to talk shit. It'll be cool.
Thanks,
I imagine
Rucka.
the immigration panel will probably touch upon racial equity as well, if I had to predict.
Yes.
But
yeah, and that's the
yeah.
thing. And that's the thing. A lot of these panels, like, you know, when you're coming up with these titles, you have to try and differentiate them. But a lot of the topics in them are going to overlap in the other ones, just like last year, just like the year before that, just, you know, every year.
Well, people are gonna want to bring in whatever the hell they want to talk about.
Exactly. So, you know, I think a rose by any other name is still a rose, Rucka. So
thank you, Shakespeare.
you're welcome. So all these panels could be, you know, interchangeable.
No, but where I'm going with this is he's gonna piss people off. I'd rather it be
No, he doesn't.
yeah. I'd rather it be in a topic that's actually that's a little more controversial. Which
Did I piss people off at the last event,
No.
or was I a major hit?
no. Oh, I'm not
That's what I'm
saying,
saying.
that's not a major hit. I'm saying the polarization of sorts. The I am better than you type attitude.
Well,
would work a lot better.
Oh, yeah?
what are you
Yeah.
talking about?
on a race or an immigrant type panel rather than
Yes.
That would
You're
be-
absolutely right. I'm so condescending when I tell every person within earshot that they can be somebody,
I
as
don't-
Jesse Jackson put
See,
it.
this-
I'm somebody. You can be somebody.
See,
you can
I'm-
be somebody.
I'm so
And the way I
glad-
tell people to reach for the stars.
Yeah.
So condescending.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm so
surprising.
glad. I'm so glad you came out of retirement for this one, Demo, because I knew it was just going to turn into you somehow insulting.
Were you even
Rucka.
at the last event? Everybody loved me. I was a smash hit. We had a great time. We
That's
turned the
true.
panel into whatever we wanted it to be. And
That's what I'm
people
saying.
left
true.
reviews asking for more.
That's true.
We do want more. We want to talk about, you know, which racial groups are being taken down by the man, which is why I want you on that panel.
I have a lot to say about that.
See?
There are racial
He's got a
groups
lot to
taken
say
down by
about
the
that.
man.
Well, I don't know why you keep pushing for this, Dima. Yeah, okay, so I just want to tell you guys
Show
the
of hands.
process. This is the process. So when we come up with these topics, there's like 12 of us, and we literally argue for hours and hours and hours and hours, and then to the point where I just get sick of it, and I say, this is what we're doing, we're moving on. It's very, very frustrating. It's a very, very taxing conversation with us. I
What
mean,
is?
just coming up with the
The
panel topics.
The reason
Go back.
Weezer did that song.
Yeah. There
point
you go.
being, it's not, you know, we could do a topic on IQ, and that would
Well, and
be
the other
so
thing,
much better.
well, but Jesus Christ, the other thing, I don't know why you say these things. So the other thing is
Just
we're
saying,
trying
be
to
hilarious.
do topics that the DNC are not going to talk about.
Yeah, they're not gonna talk
They're
about
not going to
IQ.
talk about that.
What are they talking about? They're just gonna be
It's a circle jerk.
talking up whatever candidate they put in there.
Well, we don't know. We don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they talk about.
Yeah,
but it's going to be.
They're not there to talk about the issues. They're just there
Exactly.
to say, "Hey, we're gonna give you all $1,000 a month, and we're
Exactly.
gonna end the war, and we're gonna this, and we're like
Open
that's
the
not,
borders."
That's not a discussion. That's just
Yeah.
a bunch of
We
platitudinous
couldn't even
promises.
get through 15 minutes without talking about Andrew Yang. All right, I was gonna save it. That's fine.
But I'm just saying these topics are designed as the things that the DNC won't cover. You know, so
That's a nice way to it's a nice way to promote it, but like this has nothing to do with the DNC. It just happens to be in the same city.
No, but it's a good point in that they talk about superficial things
Yes.
that have nothing to do with
that no one cares
either
about.
the culture war or topics that Main Street America wants to talk about.
That's true.
That's it.
Or they take
Main
on
Street America as opposed to Wall Street America? Are we the Wall
As
Street?
opposed
Or
to
we're
High
Main
Street.
Street,
Main
right? We're
Street.
not those Wall Street fat cats.
We're not fat
Main
cats.
Street.
Uh,
Main Street.
I'm proud to be representing Main Street at your event. Thank you for including me in the Main Street representative.
If only the venue was located on Main Street, that would be perfect.
If you get fat in the next 4 months, though, you're out.
He
You
works out
can't-
too much.
Yeah.
No,
Just saying.
yeah.
So,
we got to give a disclaimer.
all right. So the next one, Rucka, we thought this was interesting. So we know they're going to talk about immigration, right? But the topic we're going with are what are the reasonable limits and restrictions on immigration? Because they won't touch that aspect of the argument. They will talk about open borders and we got to get rid of the walls and everything else. But what are the reasonable limits and restrictions on immigration? That's the panel topic. What do you think?
It's a very difficult one to answer in today's world because of the lobby system we live in, because we live under a government that's in the business of giving stuff and taking stuff to give to others. So, yeah, it becomes, again, you become incentivized to be part of a group. You become incentivized to lobby and to pressure. And so, yeah, I understand why people don't want immigrants coming here to this largely regulated economy to take the cheap labor off, to partake in cheap labor. I understand that point of view. I also understand the point of view that says if people want to come to America and pursue a better life, don't give them welfare, but let them come in. So I understand both sides. What the Democrats are doing is just saying, let them in and give them free stuff. You are entitled to medical care. You're entitled to this, regardless of immigration status. So the Democrats literally just want to bring them in for their votes. In a free society, I would say open borders are the way during times of peace. And times of peace would be prevalent in a free society because a free society, unlike this one, would have the confidence to thwart off aggressors, to win wars decisively and quickly, which nobody is advocating to do today. Almost nobody is advocating to rationally assess a situation and defeat the aggressor, which is why the bumbling moron commander-in-chief is the closest thing we've even seen to killing anybody that aggresses against us. And within 2 days, he's saying, "All right, well, that was fun. We're back to business. We're friends again." What an idiot!
I don't think he said we're friends again.
Yeah, he was basically like, "All right, we killed one of yours. You fired some failed rockets at us. we're, I guess he did say he's imposing sanctions, but
Correct.
he has
tougher sanctions, no nuclear weapons, right?
Oh, it's just it's keeping the rhetoric on the low and making sure that there's not a full-blown conflict.
See, yeah, and that's interesting because I actually was, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or whatever. I was actually
It's
happy.
definitely that.
I was actually happy that we decided not to go to war, at least today. I mean, that could change any day.
You're not
in today's America, the way we fight wars, it is better not to go to war because our war policy is planned and executed by people that were trained to fight like Christian dark age altruists, complete idiots. We turn the other cheek. We train our soldiers to put the enemy above themselves. We apologize. We bribe the enemy to fight one another rather than just asserting ourselves and being assertive and making it clear that shenanigans will not be tolerated. So yeah, going into Iran the way we fight today would be another blunder like Iraq. But in a rational society, in a free America, it's ridiculous to think Iran would stand a chance. These idiots. They anytime they beat us, it's by default. We are so stupid and incoherent and incompetent. Look at these people. I don't even know how the Iranians can work their iPhone. They're so primitive. They're acting like fucking stupid ass cavemen. Death to America. These guys are stupid. But still, by default, they're able to pose remotely any level of threat to us because of how stupid and incoherent we've gotten.
I'm pretty sure
this is the cost of us abandoning principles and being pragmatists, short range of the moment, idiots, which is exactly what this president signifies and symbolizes in the time we live in.
Interesting.
Also confusing. So I'm sorry. The problem that we had in Iraq was that we were too altruistic and cared about collateral damage, and that was why we were in that quagmire?
I don't know if I would say we cared about collateral damage. Obviously, the whole place was blown to smithereens in the first place. But in the first place, when America first went into Iraq, the Iraqis were terrified. They were like, okay, these guys are as crazy as we are. Let's just chill and see what they want. Then we start telling them, okay, now you guys have elections. You guys vote. You tell us what you want. It's your country. Oh, you want to vote, Al-Qaeda into office? Yeah, it's your country. Sure. Oh, you want to write your own constitution? Here, let us build you sewers and build you hospitals and pave roads for you while you guys elect Osama bin Laden as president. It's absolutely insane. George W. Bush did the same thing with Israel. He went over there, told the Palestinians, hey, you guys just vote. I believe in democracy. You want to elect Hamas? Hamas when I was a child, Hamas were masked rogue terrorists. They kidnapped a soldier, tortured him on camera, and bragged about it. They released pictures and video. That's what Hamas was back in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And then they are elected as leaders? Who the fuck gives anyone the option of electing Al-Qaeda and ISIS-like people into political office? That is altruism. That is cultural relativism. That is Christian turning the other cheek. Absolutely it is.
That's 100% not. Hold on.
That is 100% yes.
That's a ridiculous argument because you, who is, and I'm not saying this is a bad viewpoint, who's very anti the government telling anyone what to do, is effectively saying you're in favor of our government enforcing some sort of a moral code on a completely foreign people. How
is it enforcing a moral code to tell these foreign people not to kill us?
No, it has nothing to do with that. Listen, what happened in Gaza in 2005 with Hamas was asinine, and these idiots decided to do it to themselves. Then they got pariahed the fuck out of society as a people. They basically ended up in no man's land, being completely barricaded. So their people suffered because their idiot asses voted in a terrorist government. Should we have come in and forcibly put in a pro-democratic whatever the fuck, and then we would be the ones telling them what to do? That probably would have been the correct decision, but still we would have had this thing leveled on us.
All right. One thing at a time. It was never America's job to tell the Palestinians how to vote or if to vote or anything like that. That was for Israel to handle, and Israel, being as altruistic and as Christian as anyone, also bent over backwards to look sensible and kind and to treat the Arabs with kid gloves, which is why they allow to have Hamas next door to them firing thousands of rockets. But when it comes to us dealing with, the other Middle Eastern, as America dealing with the Middle Eastern aggressors, we absolutely treat them with kid gloves. So no, it's not government overreach. It's the proper function of government to identify a threat and to make it very clear that shenanigans will not be tolerated. But what Bush actually did was he went to Iraq and said, "Hey, you guys vote for whatever leadership you want." Then he went to Israel and said, "Okay, now these guys also need to vote for whoever they want. Everyone gets to vote for whatever they want." But here's the thing: democracy alone is not pro-human life. Democracy alone is just mob rule. You need individual rights. You need an actual understanding of the rights of man, and clearly they don't have that in the Middle East.
Yeah,
they don't even have it anymore.
Let me ask one question. So you guys are talking about George W., right? I was against that war from the beginning because, first of all, Afghanistan is, Osama bin Laden. They're the ones that, supposedly, devised everything, right? We went and destroyed Afghanistan in like a week, right? And then we decide to go in Iraq. Why do we need to go into Iraq at that point? That made zero sense to me. Why is the government going in?
Do you want to know why we went into Iraq?
Yes, tell me.
Do you want the answer,
yes.
Or do you want to live in agnosticism and always claim nobody ever offered you the truth?
No,
or can I tell you why we went into Iraq?
Tell me why
we went
Saddam
into
Hussein.
Iraq, and I know there was some rumored possession of WMDs, which may or may not have had some basis, but they were clearly not as big a threat as Saudi Arabia and as Iran and probably a few other countries in that region, but certainly those two. So why Iraq? Can I give you the reason?
Yes.
Or do you want to always claim ignorance and say you couldn't help it because nobody told you?
I don't know
the reason we went into Iraq is because they were not the ones who attacked us on 9/11. It would be too selfish, too assertive, too rational, too integrated to respond to the countries that were responsible for 9/11. So we specifically chose the country that had clearly almost probably no relationship to anyone that did 9/11 in order to look like we're not selfish. We just want to fix that region. It's not about us. We're not selfish. Second of all, because George Bush, being a religious nut job that he is, he could not admit that anyone religious would ever do 9/11. He could not admit that anyone would ever do that in the name of Islam. So he went after Iraq because they were a secular dictatorship, because Saddam Hussein is a secular fascist dictator and not an Islamic cleric.
But Iraq was a Muslim country.
It's like saying Mexico is a Christian country. I don't even know if that's comparable, but no, Iraq was a very secularized fascist dictatorship. Most people there are Muslim background, but it's not a theocracy like Iran or Saudi Arabia.
Like
Mexico.
Mexico.
That's true,
theocracy.
but I mean, so we are way off topic.
Which is
No,
ridiculous.
we're not. We're on topic.
This
is
ridiculous
what
saying
we're
Mexico's...
This is what's happening in the world. And what do you want to talk about? Corporate activism? Who gives a fuck? Fucking Dr. Bob is crawling out of the fucking room over here.
Agree. Disagree, by the way.
Dr.
Dude,
Bob.
Your rationale for
That'd be
Iraq
Brian-
is the
Brian
most
for everyone that
ridiculous
can't
thing
see.
I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that was.
Okay?
I've never heard that
was
description.
You know what?
Because they're religious.
This is a free country. You're entitled to your whack ass opinion.
Oh, thank you
let
so
me,
much.
But
Please teach me. Tell
shed,
me what you know.
Let me shed some goddamn light on this.
Let's hear it.
On my theory about geopolitics, which you didn't even touch, is that you have a part of the world that has multiple fucked up countries, but really two of the most fucked up countries, Saudi Arabia and Iran. And you're right, they didn't want to go after them because going after big player like that would spark way too much shit on the global scene. You might have China attack us. You might have Russia enter the playing field. If you fuck up, hold on. If you fuck up a small country, you're not going to get that level of scrutiny. So what happens if I come into your neighborhood? If I come into your apartment complex, you probably don't live in an apartment, but whatever, and I come to not your apartment, but the apartment next to you, and I fucking launch the biggest stink bomb there possibly is. You don't think any of that stink is going to get into your apartment? I didn't do it to you, Rucka. I did it to your neighbor.
But
now you have to deal with that shit.
We already had.
Bye-bye. I'm out. That's exactly why we did that.
But we already had.
For what? For what? So we could do what? Bend over for Iran more? We're paying the Iranians to participate in Iraq, and the Iranians were killing Americans while we were in there, and they still are.
If they have to deal with the shit in their own backyard, they're going to be too busy to deal with us. That was the whole idea.
You're telling me that a country that can win World War II isn't able to take on Iran and Saudi Arabia because the Chinese are going to go to war with us? Nobody wants to go with a war with us. So Russia has never done anything in their life but invade ass-backward neighboring countries. You think Russia, you morons talk about Russia like, oh, they're going to attack us any day. They're idiots, and they're weak. Their military is not strong. We have the strongest military conceivable, and we not only don't use it, we do the opposite of use it. We tie our hands behind our backs and we bend over. I just gave you a brilliant explanation for why we went into Iraq, and it's true. Let me finish. If you pay attention to how people think in this country, how they talk, they're always afraid of coming off as assertive, coming off as selfish. True. And our religious nutjob president at the time didn't want to admit that religious people had attacked us, and he didn't want to look selfish. He didn't want to look assertive. He didn't want America to be seen as hitting back somebody that hit us. So he purposely took us into a country that was A, not religious, and B, not the ones responsible for 9/11. We actually went in there because they didn't do 9/11.
Yeah, I just explained why.
Can I offer my suggestion or my perception always with it? So
it better differ from ours.
I just want to cool Rucka off a little bit too. He's fired up. He's fired up. He's fired up. So the only thing that made sense to me at the time was the Iraq War was W's daddy's war. Right?
You got to get that oil, son.
B, Afghanistan was too easy, and it was almost like sending a message saying, hey, we can still fuck up a country, and that's why we went after Iraq. You know,
we're still in Afghanistan. They still have the Taliban or whoever it was in charge there. They've killed a bunch of our soldiers and gotten no punishment for that. We totally made asses of ourselves. We continue to fight an altruistic, pathetic war in Afghanistan. We never even had to go in there. All we ever had to do to Afghanistan was just remove the Taliban to show them what happens when they harbor, Al-Qaeda. Just bomb the general region where Osama bin Laden might be, just to make it clear that we don't play games. But generally gone after the head of the dragon, which is Iran and Saudi Arabia, the two of them. So especially Iran, because Iran, other than being responsible for funding and educating terrorists, they also are the inspiration to people like Osama bin Laden and ISIS. They are the inspiration, despite being Shiite or whatever. They are the inspiration of what's possible, of what happens. You can take Americans hostages and stand your ground, and then you can install a theocracy, and you can kick America in the balls every day, and nothing will happen because America is a paper tiger. They are the inspiration. You could even say the modern jihadist movement was inspired by Iran. If the pathetic Americans at the end of the 70s and in the 80s had taught Iran a lesson right away, there's a good chance that people like bin Laden would have spent their lives elsewhere and not ever even tried to bring down our towers.
Yeah, but what does that mean? You're talking in these circles. We are ruled by King Rucka over here, okay? What would you do in these situations?
King Rucka.
You're so you're pro-government for self-defense purposes. Great. Don't disagree with you there. what would you have an aggressor government do if they come in? When we came into Japan, MacArthur wrote their fucking constitution for them. He was like, here you go, buddy.
Yeah.
He's like, there you go, use it. Okay, so that was government fiat to completely structure their economy. Now, they had more of a open mind to accept it because we dropped a goddamn nuclear bomb on them. Can I extrapolate? That's what you would have us do on fucking Riyadh? Drop a goddamn bomb on them, give them a constitution, walk away. Is that the solution?
First of all, I don't think nuclear bombs are necessary when you're fighting literal cavemen. But second of all, I'm not embarrassed by nuclear bombs the way you are. I don't know how many decades you want to spend altruistically throwing our soldiers into suicide missions as long as no one ever uses a nuclear bomb again. But generally speaking, it's not necessary to use a nuclear bomb. You can get the message across very clearly with other types of bombs and, yes, exert some damage. When it comes to Iran, I'm learning there's an enormous split between the government and the people. Generally, the people are under the gun. Most of them, they don't even like their government. So we don't even need to crush the spirits of the people. In Japan, we needed to crush the spirits of the people. In Germany, the cities themselves, the citizens, they needed their spirits crushed. That's probably not even the case with Iran. So remove the regime, remove them and make it very clear. This happens, we're attacked again, or we even get the impression that you guys are attacking us. This will happen again. There's going to be more damage, more trouble coming your way.
That's a valid
It's as
point.
simple. You bring up the analogy of coming into someone's house and taking a shit. This is no different than defending your home, your family, your person from an aggressor. I don't know how many scenarios you want me to answer. It's up to the generals, it's up to the military to tell you the best tactics for making that message clear. But the policy should be self-defense. That does not conflict with small government, which I've never even talked about. I don't even say the government should be small or big. The government should be proper. The government should be proper. They should be properly defending us.
I know Sean's going to want to move on. I will say what you're talking about makes sense. But the counter-argument to this is that right now, on a global scale in Europe and everywhere else, we are still held as a moral standard. If you dropped a fuck ton of cluster bombs on whatever, Saudi Arabia, while I, on 9 out of 10 levels, agree with you that that's the right course of action, every fucking lib out there in every country that's even remotely westernized would then immediately stop looking at us as a moral arbiter. So that's
the whole world hates America. Are you kidding me? The more we appease, the more we apologize, the more nobody respects us, and everyone laughs at us. Now I'm sounding like Trump. Nobody respects us. I wish he knew what the fuck those words meant. He doesn't even know what the hell that means. But yeah, who cares, by the way? What if someone made this argument of dealing with Japan? What if someone made this argument dealing with any aggressor? Oh, well, I mean, what are the world's going to think? We have a problem, identify it, solution. I don't know why you're fighting me on this. This is not capitalism.
Hey.
You don't need to get rid of your socialist dreams for this topic.
I agree with you. That was the devil's advocate argument that could be posed. As
it is, they accuse us of being hawkish and reckless. And we come off looking reckless because we're such pragmatists. We just look range of the moment. Okay, right now, we need this region right here to be this way, and then we start bribing the people there to kill one another. Yes. It's absolutely ridiculous.
It is
If America had moral courage. By the way, you say, America are seen as the moral leaders. What is morality? Proper morality is egoism, rational selfishness. If a properly moral country had a government there to protect the rights of the people in that country, then the moral thing to do is to respond to aggression with 10 times more aggression.
I don't disagree with you. We're 100% aligned on this.
So what are the Europeans going to do? They can't even keep their own neighborhood safe. What are they going to do? Start a war with us?
Most of the people, especially in this country that are left-leaning, are going to listen to this position and think that it's immoral, asinine, whatever it is, when Israel should have done this a long time ago and fucking leveled 3/4 of Gaza, killed every single person in their government, and allowed the Palestinians to flourish. And yet they didn't. And while they still wage humanitarian warfare with these asshats, they're still seen on the global stage as aggressors. So
exactly,
yes,
that's my point, and I have news for you.
It's a microcosm for what the U.S. could be doing on a global stage if we have the ultimate moral position, which we 100% do. It's not even debatable.
So are we in agreement then?
We're 100% in agreement.
Well, I have news for you. We're all living in Israel now. I know that's probably what they say in, on the alt-right. Oh, we're all in Israel now. But what I mean by that is now you've got suicide bombings in London, right? Oh, is that Israel? Are they doing Israel's bidding? Now you've got, France under attack. You've got all these, random acts of terrorism happening everywhere in the Western world. We're all living in Israel now. Israel has been engaging in this kid glove engagement with her aggressors, and so is America in our own dealings. And I'm telling you, the root of this is philosophical. A country that abandons reason, a culture, I should say, an intellectual culture that abandons reason, that abandons individualism, that abandons the Enlightenment, ends up confused, skeptic, afraid, nihilistic, indecisive, religious, altruistic, mystical. They don't have the confidence to identify a problem and to deal with it assertively. So I will offer you that if America were to respond to 9/11 with a sober conviction, if anything, the world would warm up to America. In America today, what I'm talking about has not been offered. Anytime I say anything that sounds hawkish, people think I'm advocating for another George W. Bush-style war. This is what he's done. He's made it so I need to explain what I mean, that I'm not advocating for boots on the ground to help them build sewers while they blow us up every day.
No, that's a good point. I'm glad that this was recorded so you could make this distinction and that I adequately challenged this position, which, motherfucker, I agree with. So,
and I'm glad that time after time we can get you saying you agree with me, but they won't understand it. The people out there won't understand it. This is moral cowardice. You need to have a pair of testicles to deal with the world. And I'm offering you those testicles.
Listen, what you need is to get in the mindset of an irrational person, ask the question that they would ask, and then answer that question.
I am answering those questions.
Correct.
I'm talking to you.
Only because I'm asking you them. Because I know
I answered them before you asked them.
I tee these questions up on a goddamn platter for you so you can knock them out of the park. You should be thanking me.
You guys are.
I am thanking you.
From your goddamn California.
I'm not going to even share my opinion on any of that because it's just going to
Hold on.
When are you guys getting on a panel?
We can't. Yeah,
that would be good.
When are we going to be?
You guys would fist fight each other.
We can't. Yeah. Also, we cannot continue because you said something ridiculous, and I would like you to clarify. But this was like 45 minutes ago. So you advocated for open borders, which
wait, Rucka did?
Yes, very vehemently
during times of peace.
And I was interested in this position because I have never been able to justify this intellectually. So I would like for you to justify the time of peace, open borders position, and how that would look like. Remember when I asked you how would you do the roads?
I'm familiar with what you're referring to. I'm just waiting for you to finish this monologue of a question.
No, it's not a monologue because you're going to talk abstractions, and I want you to be, remember that when I asked you about the roads, that specific. I want you to be that specific about open borders.
Specific about what? When there's no, when I'm in a time of peace, in a free society, I said.
Jesus,
in a free society.
In a utopia.
So people come here, they can't go on benefits, and the economy is not regulated. That's the society I'm envisioning.
Zero safety net, right?
Not only that, but much more importantly, no regulation. There's laws that punish you if you defraud or violate somebody's rights, but other than that, you're free to conduct business. So we've got booming capitalism, we've got prosperity, and now if somebody wants to move to America and somebody's willing to rent them an apartment and somebody's willing to offer them a job, why is that anybody else's business?
Okay, that's a valid point.
Nobody owns the country itself. You got a series of individuals that own the land that they own. But the country itself is not anybody's house. People talk about it like it's our home, like we're a family, like we're like, hey, they've got a gate around their community. Why can't we have a gate around our country?
Wait.
In a time of peace, in a free country, why shouldn't any individual human being around the world with the means to do so be free to enter this country and do business with somebody willing to engage with them? Isn't that what life is all about, is pursuing the life that you want? Why would I want to then lobby with my neighbors to block the border, to block people?
Okay, clarifying question. Does this utopia assume there is no more public land? Because isn't that ultimate objectivism is 100% private ownership?
Private ownership, yeah.
Well, okay.
I'm
not on board. So.
What is so crazy about that?
We've already talked about this. It's the dumbest idea ever.
Why is it dumb? Can you explain this to me?
Yes, absolutely. Did we not talk about parks and how much I love parks and how you hate parks?
You would have better parks under capitalism, you low expectation having Ruski,
Chuck E.
you
Cheese.
fucking communist.
Chuck E. Cheese would run the park.
Let me talk. If I were to go to communist Russia and tell them, do you know we can privatize bread? He would say, oh, no, niet, we cannot privatize. What if the big bad businessmen charge 2 million rubles for one piece of bread? They wouldn't understand. How could anyone not gouge one another endlessly in a free society? We need the government to own most of everything. Today we got 75% of the country, I think, is owned by the government. I cannot live here. I cannot create. I cannot produce. I cannot irrigate. I cannot sell or buy this country, beautiful land. It's all the property of the government itself. And you're complaining about what? What are you worried about?
I'm complaining about access to
parks,
monuments, to the seashore, to a fuck ton of natural landmarks that I would like access to, because some fucking billionaire from China is going to buy miles upon miles of shoreline and then just squat on it.
You can access it.
First of all, what's he buying it for? What's he going to do with it?
Just to sit on it, because they
Why?
can.
Okay, and to what end? What's his incentive to do that?
Why would anybody that has money sit on something that can make money?
Yeah, wouldn't he want to? Hold on, wouldn't he want to build himself a beautiful house on one part of the beach and maybe give himself another mile just to go on his morning walk, and then rent out? Charge $1 for people to go to the beach on the other part of the beach. What do you think? That's how the world works? And how did that Chinese guy get rich if he's such an idiot?
Yeah, I'm with Ruck on that. When you privatize things that the government controls, it typically gets better.
Unless it entails force. You cannot privatize force. You don't privatize prisons. You don't privatize police. You don't privatize the court, the legal system. You don't privatize the military.
This excludes forests?
I agree with that.
Trees?
Force is. This is important because, Dimitri, I see your lips moving, but I don't know if you're talking. I'm speaking right now. It's my turn finally. When you were talking about, I'm used to dealing with, I've been realizing more and more recently the influence of anarchism in this culture when I argue with either leftists, with
anarchism.
Can I speak, or is it your turn? Is it my turn? Do you respect property rights when it comes to speaking, taking turns?
No.
When I talk to leftists, when I talk to the civil libertarians, all these people, the way they look at the government, they don't understand that there is such a thing as a proper function of government. They just see the government as the enemy. And then you said to me, Dimitri, you said, oh, I thought you're for limited government, but now you want the government to go bomb those guys over there? No, there is a proper role of government. I am not an anarchist. So when I say everything is privatized, I don't mean that the police are privatized. I don't mean that when you go to court, whoever pays the judge more money gets their verdict. I don't mean that the military is for hire. That, oh, you know what? I want to bomb France. Loan me $1 trillion here. I'm gonna go bomb those guys.
We know about that. You've never talked about forest. That's a new one you added to the list. That has
force, not forest.
Oh, I thought you kept saying forest.
No, he said forest.
Fuck. The forest should be privatized. Do you know who made the forest?
Did he not say forest?
No, he said forest. You weren't paying attention.
No,
he said forest.
I was so shocked
Okay,
that trees ended up
I'm just-
being
I'm
in
just-
the fucking
I'm just gonna-
in the scope of things
I'm
that
just-
could not be privatized. I was
all right,
like
yeah,
shocked
no,
over
yeah,
here
you're
for the past
obviously-
5 minutes.
Do you know who first made
Teddy
forests
Roosevelt.
and public lands in this country?
Teddy Roosevelt.
Yes, the Donald Trump of his time. So tell that to all your tree-hugging friends. He was the first Donald Trump, and God knows how long we're going to be living with the damage caused by today's Teddy Roosevelt.
So
I love the fact that I can go to a number of national parks and enjoy
My
trees.
God. And
We
they're
know
all
you guys,
bullshit. You would have so much better parks and forests if they were privately owned and you didn't have to wait for some pedophile park ranger to come fucking clear it up for you.
Okay, what are the
Can that
reasonable
be an entire panel?
What are the reasonable limitations or limits and restrictions on immigration? That was the panel that started all this.
No,
Rucka,
pedophile park rangers.
Rucka,
Can I tell you what it's gonna be when it's at the conference? It's
Yes.
gonna be a bunch of pragmatists on the stage. It's gonna be a bunch of mixed economy advocates, a bunch of lobby system advocates arguing over, well, what benefits the collective the most? What's best for our country's interest? One side you'll have saying, hey man, these immigrants, they give us good, they work hard, they're good people, blah blah blah. On the other hand, you'll be hearing, hey, but we have a right to close our borders. It's not in our self-interest as a country to have immigrants. But the only self-interest that exists is that of an individual. There is no collective self-interest when it conflicts with that of an individual. Keep that in mind at all times. Thank you.
I'm so glad we chose you to help us advertise this event.
I think
Sargon,
that's exactly what it's gonna be like.
Sargon's going to be on it. Graham Elwood's going to be on it, and Lauren Chen. We got one TBA there. Let me ask you one question though, Rucka. On your whole position with in time of peace, we should have open borders.
My God,
Don't
all anyone wants to talk about with me.
I just want to ask because
Who cares?
It's an interesting
ahead.
thing to bring
because
up.
of the human makeup, and we've seen it time and time again in history. Don't you always have a collective of humans that want to go in and raid and take things from others that don't belong to them?
Well,
because
that's why
they're more
force is
powerful?
there to keep them from breaking
Yes.
in your house.
First of all, when you look at the most altruistic, anti-Western Western countries like the ones in Europe, they're the ones who can't stomach the idea of policing their own neighborhoods when migrants are violent. So you do need, again, this all ties back to philosophy. You need to have conviction that your rights are worth defending. The police needs to be confident, even the military if necessary. So yeah, that is what the government is for, to police and to protect your rights. But to really answer your question, kind of the first part or the question itself, no, you don't really see that. What you do see time and time again is that immigrants act the way they're told. They do what they're told when they're in a new place. They're sheepish when they show up. In Europe, the Muslims are told, hold on to your Islamic ways. You're better than us. We're embarrassed to be European. You guys, your culture that you escaped from is superior to ours. What do we say in our culture when people immigrate here? Our government and our public school system and our media generally, what do they tell them? Oh, your culture that you escaped from is better than ours. You should hold on to your beliefs. You should hold on to your way of
Melting
life.
pot,
That's why
blah,
people
blah,
don't
blah.
assimilate these days.
Yeah, interesting.
No, it's
But
a very good
See,
point.
guys, I
That-
do have the answers. You
that-
just never listen.
No, not always. I have
Always.
actually, I
What?
got a good one for you.
What?
But
What?
before,
What?
no, that's
What?
actually a good idea about, if we ever want to fuck with any of the things, it's a whole thing about culture and how is the melting pot mentality something that's that's antithetical to the American way of life, and in itself a bad idea. That's something interesting that Rucka just brought up.
I have different opinions on that. Is it
That's what I
time?
mean.
Is it time to cancel culture? That's
Wait,
the
what
next
was
one.
that point about the melting pot? I was a little confused
Yeah,
by
I
that.
didn't get it. I
What are you
think
talking
he
about?
said
You just said that we're like, oh, it's our differences that make us better, blah blah blah. That's the common zeitgeist right now is hold on to your shit, it's so good. And
But the melting pot analogy came up at a time when people did used to assimilate. That's why America kind of emerged with its own distinctive culture. You had the pizza of the Italians, you had the whatever of the Polish, you had this of the Germans, you had like the melting pot.
Well,
I
or
think
now it's like
signifies
a
time
tossed
when
salad
everyone was assimilating.
or whatever it is. That every component maintains its
the
parts.
melting pot means people are assimilating, and you get this beautiful hodgepodge of different things. But multiculturalism is what we have today, or cultural relativity is where you say, oh no, you can't fuck with that guy's culture. Let him be Jamaican. You over there be whatever, Chinese, so everyone needs to be separate and do their own thing. So it's collectivism, it's altruism. Ultimately, it's telling the individual your life is not your own. You owe something to your ancestors. You owe something to your lineage. It's absolutely reprehensible, and it's unfortunately the mainstream academic view in today's world. Sorry to dwell on this. Sean, you wanted to
totally
ask
fine.
about
No, it's
cancel
totally
culture?
fine. I agree. The collectivism shit doesn't make sense, and that's it, especially for like people like us who are not what do you call it, red blood Americans or whatever you want to say. We get put in the bubbles, and I'm not a fan of that either. Is it time to cancel culture? That's the other one. Tim Pool's on that one. We got a bunch of TBAs on that one.
Yeah, the internet was supposed to be like the big escape from rule by three major corporations. You didn't need to get a record deal to release music. You don't need to get a TV deal to be on the screen, and everyone could just get on the internet and do what they want 24/7. Now we are having everyone dig up everything, as Steven called it on our corporate activism panel, part 1 from last summer. He called it archaeology. What was it? Like Twitter archaeology or some shit?
Yeah.
He was like going up and digging up old shit that people said.
Yeah.
It's definitely out there. It's stupid. It's on us to not get worked up about it. Unfortunately, the people are volatile, and a lot of people are going to get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and I think,
this is done.
And the sad thing is, this has been playing out in human history forever. Even if you look at Hollywood, this has been happening in Hollywood forever. Digging up something on someone to give yourself a name. Punishing someone because they're friends with someone that has a bad reputation. This is high school shit.
Hollywood tends to do a pretty good job at hiring publicists. And publicists know other publicists, and they know journalists, obviously. And there's sort of a community of people who kind of agree either to keep things hushed in exchange for favors, or at times to release specially unearthed things as kind of a publicity stunt. But that, the script is flipped with the internet and all of this shit. Today, nobody is safe. Now, politics is a place where cancel culture has long been at play.
Yeah.
You do anything. You make a racist joke in kindergarten. Good luck running for office as an adult.
If you're not one of the favored, there's a lot.
It does seem like the media and the culture is forgiving of people like Joe Biden, who is actively touching people inappropriately. But, Donald Trump, as much as I've ripped on him, he makes one comment about women letting him grab them somewhere.
Yeah.
And he said it in private. He wasn't, bringing his disgusting perspective out in public like Biden does when he touches these young women. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
and Trump is now officially on the list of sex offenders in the popular culture.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And then the last one, the questions journalists won't ask Democratic candidates. What do you think? What do you think about that
one? Same questions they won't really ask any candidates. What is the purpose of government?
Yeah.
Is it okay to be atheist?
Yeah.
That's true. They won't ask that. We're getting there. We might see an atheist in office. We probably have some in like Congress already, right?
Oh yeah.
Milwaukee could probably get an atheist
of the
elected.
Population. Bernie Sanders is an atheist, but I don't think he's not getting.
But he's
elected.
Jewish, so it's all right. He says he's an atheist, but he's a Jew.
And then the after party. Anyone that buys tickets automatically gets the after party this time. So
woot.
Then what's the point of?
Oh, I think we lost him.
Rucka.
Rucka.
He gone.
Is he still there, Mike?
Oh, I had such a good question for him.
He'll be back.
Teed up.
Yeah, he froze up.
Stop getting frozen, Rucka.
It's
Jesus.
his bad internet speed, unless it's ours too. I don't know. Check this chat. Are we still?
I bet it's
still
California.
no.
They're socialist governments cutting their internet speeds.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'm so glad we brought Rucka on. He made it seem like an awesome event that you'd want. Is he back?
No.
No. Oh, he dropped.
Yeah.
Oh, he's calling back. Uh-oh. That's in our.
Oh, it's so loud.
That's great. This is fantastic. Everyone gets the Skype, the famous Skype music.
Are we back on?
Yeah, we're back on.
Fudge,
All right,
yes.
We can hear you now.
Yeah.
We missed everything.
Uh-oh. Oh, he's disconnecting again. This is
He's remixing.
this is to be expected, unfortunately.
No, well, I think
I'm excited.
Someone who's who's
He's calling back, Mike.
Oh jeez. Oh, so
There we go.
loud.
We get to
Mike.
listen to this. He's give him a second.
No, but where's the green thing?
It's at the top, Mike. It's at the top, Mike.
On the left. Sweet Jesus. Sweet baby Jesus.
There we go. Did you get him?
I hear you now. You hear me?
We hear you. We hear you.
All right. So we got an after party.
God, we lost him again. What the hell's going on?
This
I'll just call him on the phone.
Might be a recipe for disaster. Or no video.
Or no video.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone. But anyways, yeah, I'm super excited about the event. I think it's gonna be fun. We got some people we're working
not
on.
to be excited about.
We got
the level of activity. The fucking hive is gonna be in Milwaukee in 2020,
and that's gonna be what's crazy.
That's gonna be insane.
That's gonna be crazy.
But think of like all the man on the street interviews and all that shit. That's for sure going to be. I'm excited to like run into Elad or Fleckus or fucking Nuance Bro or some of these random people on the street. That's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
We might even we'll see if they're able to come to the event.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. There's gonna be a whole circus of people. In the Ruck, are you back?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Fake
I don't
back.
know what's going on
Fake back.
with that. That's annoying.
So we're having a party from 9 to 11.
Yeah, party from 9 to 11, and then is he gone again?
No, he's good.
Oh, okay.
I hear you.
Okay.
Having a 9/11 party.
We're having a 9/11 party. And
By the way, I hate to be that guy, but it is going to be 7-Eleven, and they do give out free Slurpees, and we are likely going to be dealing with people that like to throw shit. Like milkshakes.
We'll have that. We'll have that.
I hope they throw a good.
This is this is why I actually try to explain to people with these events. Nobody's gonna pay $250 to come in and throw a milkshake. You know. Those people only show up to the free events. They show up to the events outside. They show up to the park events. They only show up.
That's a good point.
You know, the Antifa and all their ilk. They only show up because they can't afford much. They're gonna show up to to harass people that are having open to the public events. They're not paying $250 a kid. And if they did, just imagine that they're gonna pay $250 to come in and throw a milkshake at Rucka, and then we're gonna tackle them, remove them, and hand them over to the police. So
they wouldn't throw them at me, but they would.
You know what I'm saying.
Listen, Are you inviting people that dropped out last year? I'm just curious. I haven't seen any.
We have
no, we are.
Well,
not.
I don't. We still have people.
Uncomfortable question?
No. We still have people we're reaching out to. We're waiting for responses.
I actively vote against people who wasted money
and the
by
nice thing
having
is,
us buy multiple plane
And the nice
tickets.
thing is Dima's not on any of those decision-making rounds. So
otherwise, I would pull a hard, fast.
Yeah, he doesn't get
Hey, if you fuck with logistics repeatedly,
he doesn't get a vote.
Now
the thing that's happening right now, though, it is scary for speakers, for people like you, talent, people that have large followings. It's scary right now, and I get it.
Talent,
yeah,
large following.
Yeah, People that
Listen,
are known, it's scary.
How can you be mad at the people who dropped out? They promoted
I'm
the
not-
event. They got a
I'm
bunch of
not
people to
mad
buy
at 'em.
tickets,
Are
and
you
then they
putting
didn't have
Rucka
to
in that
give us
category?
their opinion on
I'm-
stage. They fucked right off.
Yeah.
They let me have 2 panels.
Right.
What are you
I'm
mad
not,
about?
I'm not mad at him. Dima's just he's a dummy.
I'm
That's
mad.
why
Hey, Miles,
he doesn't get a vote on
Miles,
anything.
thank you so much for for the contribution. Really.
Oh, what does he
really
say?
What did he
appreciate it.
contribute?
What
I
did he say?
didn't get any of
Well,
it.
you gotta
What did-
read this.
Hey
Super
guys, looking forward to the event. Good luck. Thank you. And if you're gonna be here in
Thanks.
Milwaukee,
Is that Miles? Thanks, Miles.
Yeah, Miles is awesome. We're gonna have a tight knit collective of people,
Yeah.
and we usually meet almost everyone that
Yeah.
comes to the events. This time it's gonna be even better.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't get upset with anyone if they can't make it, or and it was hot last year. We had 40 Philadelphia police officers outside the event because the Antifa types.
No.
No.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you say you're coming. We buy it.
You're arguing against me. What I'm saying is it got hot. There was a lot of pressure on that event, and it's scary, and I totally get it. There's people that work with us that were scared that didn't want to go. I'm not going to hold that against anyone. I totally understand it, especially when you see the mass shootings and people fucking shooting in the public and shit. It's scary. That's why we always take security extremely serious. Rucka, you saw the security we had last year. You see it every year,
I wouldn't fuck with them.
Right. So, I totally get it. So I don't hold any ill will towards anyone. If they're like, hey, I want to do it, and then all of a sudden it gets hot, I get it.
DDV
totally
show,
understand.
appreciate your contribution as well, and we will 100% make sure that Rucka wears deodorant. We will not allow what happened last time.
Wait, what does that mean?
I'm kidding.
Did I miss something? Did you not wear deodorant last time?
I have no idea. I'm just
Evidently not. I love this bio you have for
I'm
me,
fucking
and
with him.
I'm right next to Carl Benjamin, who has a fucking paragraph as his bio. Oh, with over 900,000 subscribers on YouTube on the channel he doesn't post on anymore.
Oh.
Hey, here's the thing, Rucka. I always ask. Oh no, did we lose him? Ah, shit. We lost him again. This is not good.
No,
Rucka has-
Dude, look, I see.
Rucka has bio envy. Rucka has bio. Here's the
That's
thing.
awesome.
If we wrote Sargon's a long time ago, we
Did you
just used that one.
Yeah, but have you
Rucka's-
updated them since?
Rucka never really gave us one. If we have one for Rucka, we would totally use it.
I probably wrote it. It was a while back.
Yeah. No, I think I don't know who wrote Rucka.
Yo.
If you have a bio, give me the bio.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you said last time.
What?
You never
What?
gave up. Oh no,
We
wait.
put up Music Man Mike's bio, and he
Wait,
said he
who-
was like
who
a
wrote
Hitler
the most
or something.
ridiculous one. Yeah,
that was
true.
Music Man Mike.
That was him.
That was Michael
Yeah.
Rowlands.
I just think it's a funny choice of words to say many social constructs. Like, are you saying race is a social construct? That is a particular position to hold on that issue. I mean, there is a degree to which I would say it's emphasized socially, but just politics, race, philosophy, and many other social constructs. You're just clearly using words that you've heard said and writing stuff.
Wow.
That's
Just
cut-
bio
that's a-
envy.
that's
Bio
deep.
envy.
Bio envy.
Deep cut.
That's some bio envy going on.
Whereas Sargon's bio says, a skeptic of ideologies both theological and political, his channels are dedicated to rational arguments backed by evidence.
That is
Hey,
pretty funny.
Hey, that bio is super gay and written by Brian for sure.
Why-
Sometimes
sure.
a polemicist,
Why-
at other times soft-spoken,
Yeah,
Sargon
yeah.
of Akkad has
Could
created a
not
considerable amount
be
of content
gayer.
regarding
Yeah,
skeptical thought.
Exactly.
That's just because we like Carl better than you.
Can I say this? I liked him when he yelled at that guy at MythCon. I liked him. I don't like him now that he's so nice and civilized. Can he go back?
He's trying to be a politician. He's trying to play
Yeah.
both sides.
Well, he
of
lost. He lost the election. Can you get back to the way things were?
I don't know.
Back
I
to-
still enjoy his. I love Akkad daily. I think it's fantastic.
Hey, can we get back to objectivism since I don't
Oh,
get to talk to
Jesus.
Rucka very often?
Oh, gee.
Yeah,
Can
if
you
we don't
guys talk?
get cut off again.
Yeah, I know. Can you guys talk? You two
Hold on.
Seriously, we got to get you guys on a panel together.
I have another question, a very important one for fucking.
I'm sure it's very important.
The logical one over here. Hey, so this position of zero government regulations and yada yada. Again, perfect world, makes a lot of sense. Love it. Love where your head's at. Okay. Thanks for the noises and the visual cues.
No.
Have you listened to this amazing podcast called The Bad Batch? Okay, great podcast made by the Wondery. Recommend it to everyone. It's about a bad batch of stem cells and a lot of bad batches of stem cells that are continuously getting released into the mainstream. Stem cell therapy is poorly regulated by the FDA. It's one of the fields that's not regulated very well. They sell a lot of snake oil, and there are certainly clinics and producers that are manufacturers that are hurting people actively. Now, one would say, from the objectivist position, well, hey, Dima, what's going to happen is they'll go out of business because they're going to be selling bad products. But what also happens is if you make a shit ton of money, you can rebrand as a completely separate company, relaunch your shit, and then start making the same exact product over again, which a lot of these companies have been doing. And so the entire industry is getting a bad rap. Now, I'm not a big fan of regulation, but when it comes to health, I'm a huge fan of it. So I would ask you what your thoughts are, being that you're a big free market guy.
Hopefully I don't get cut off again by your little Milwaukee tech Wi-Fi over there.
Tech Wi-Fi, it's yours.
Oh, it's my fault now?
Yeah.
Blame the black guy?
Blame the black man.
Look, when the government spends all their time and resources doing the wrong thing, then obviously they're not going to do a very good job actually protecting your rights. It's like it's just come with me on this little journey for a moment.
Oh, boy.
When the local police spends all their time hunting drug dealers, that's basically their job. Their primary purpose, what they're incentivized to do, what they're required to do is to catch drug dealers. Then good luck getting the police to investigate a burglary, to investigate a rape, to investigate an assault. They're sort of half interested. They try to brush it under the rug. There have been enormous scandals uncovered all over the country where police threw evidence away and threw away the key when it comes to crimes that actually do violate people's rights, because their job became, in this highly mixed economy, this highly regulated lobby system, it became the job of the government, the job of the police, to engage in preventative crime, to arrest drug dealers because, the rationale goes that people who do drugs and sell drugs are more likely to do other crimes as well. That's how this came about in the first place. Okay, now, if you've got actual companies hurting people, that is a type of fraud. That is a violation of rights. And this should not be allowed. You should be in enormous trouble if you do this. And now when it comes to preventing it in the first place, I think a free society, which we are far from living in, if a free society would have lots and lots of organizations, of institutions that are in the business, in the private sector, in the business of making sure your food is clean, of making sure your medicine is safe. It's like getting something certified kosher. You know this, Dimitri. If for something to be kosher, some people took it very seriously to make sure that factory didn't have any bacon being eaten over the food. The rabbis made sure, they busted some balls to make sure that it is certified kosher. It would be similar for the general populace. They can have privately owned companies that are in the business of protecting you. That's on the preventative front. And in the aftermath, if it turns out a company went ahead and found a way to fuck with your stem cells despite the market forces, they should be in enormous trouble. That is a form of assault. It can be seen as tantamount to attempted murder or something like that. Fraud is a type of force. Selling somebody something that you're lying to them about what you're selling them is a type of force. So no, again, I'm not an anarchist. I believe in rule of law and the protection of individual rights. Good answer. Thanks.
Let me ask you guys something. So this is something that's been It kind of
I
ties.
just wanted to say that was a pretty good answer.
No, it's a good.
For once, I did something right.
It's something that ties
Twice
into
on this podcast.
what you were asking, and then also like the event. So I was thinking about this today. So, like with the last event in Philly, we obviously got deplatformed in New Jersey because we had, I'd say maybe like 15 people that created a bunch of fake accounts, and they hacked the Twitter account of the venue, and they started, threatening the venue to burn it down and things of that nature, and like really some really awful things, and really framing our speakers and our whole event in just terrible ways. And they continue to do this, and they continue to do this, and they continue to do this. And this is the first time we have, obviously we've experienced it. We've seen other people that have experienced it. And it's not fair, in my opinion, because obviously all of our events are always extremely safe. Everyone has a really good time. Everyone's laughing, having a good time. But the way they frame these things is just like it's the end of the world. There's Nazis coming. I mean, we've had conversations with board of directors at venues, like explain, like how do you explain when someone says, "Oh, they have speakers that are pedophiles and racists and Nazis"? Should there be any type of backlash or any type of punishment for those people? Like how do we handle that? Like what's the solution?
There are libel and slander laws.
I think that's a fair question. And yeah, when it comes to things like causing somebody damage with your speech, then more is on the table here than just expression. You are possibly causing damages, and this is where legal philosophy, the philosophy of law, comes in, and it's not an easy one to answer. Yeah. There is a contract law as well. I know the one theater backed out at the last minute.
Yeah.
If they've caused you damage, they might say, hey, we were just dealing with the new set of facts. People were boycotting us for the next 10 years if we don't. I mean, it's complicated. Contract law is complicated. I will say this. When we went to that after party at that bar, and the police were escorting us, keeping the area safe, I felt such a sense of benevolence. I felt such a sense of proper cause and effect, proper order. Like, for once, I felt like things are as they ought to be in this environment. And that is what every day should feel like for people. They should feel like we've got a rational government there protecting our safety, protecting our rights, there for no reason but to extract force from human dealings. So that was a very beautiful thing to have experienced. And thank you to the police there for doing your job so well.
They did a great job, and I definitely thought it was a life experience. But I'm on the other side of saying that it shouldn't be like this. We shouldn't have to have a street closed down, and you saw how many protesters showed up. It was like maybe 15. They called Daryl Davis a white supremacist.
But
just crazy.
It's a free country.
Crazy.
They're allowed to be crazy.
Well, let me say this. After so many, the reason Antifa and all of their ilk have become so at ease, because the reason they feel so comfortable causing problems so many places, because they've been allowed to get away with violence on countless occasions. Right. And this is a default of the police, a default of the government, the local government, to do their job. So you see what happens when the government is in the business of dealing with lobbies, when they're not in the business of protecting the rights of the individual. Yep. You end up with the pressure group system. You end up with ideologues in office or corrupt, bribe prone judges and politicians and police chiefs, etc. So this is what you get.
Yeah. Well, and the thing, Rucka, are you still there?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Okay,
are
good.
you there?
I just want to make sure because you stopped quickly, and I thought maybe it was a damn connection.
I'm feeling a little bit of a glitch. I'm seeing trouble ahead.
Damn it. Here's the problem. So, the theater, that's one thing. Yes, you could there's contract law and things of that nature, and we can take actions there. You can't take action against a random person that calls your theater, your after party venue 15 times. There's nothing you can do because they're acting anonymously. It's like the IRL version of Twitter. There's nothing we can do.
So you keep your venue hidden, and then you announce.
I know there's things that
I think I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Listen, there's no easy answer to this.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't like it either. I would say a couple of points. First of all, having the best protection of rights as humanly possible will help reduce the damages and protect you in these situations. And B, this is why reason is paramount. This is why, unlike what Dimitri will have you believe, all people are capable of being rational, and this needs to be widespread. This needs to be encouraged, promoted, instead of raising people from age 0 to believe that they're a part of a group, that they're part of a tribe, that they're part of a class. People need to be taught critical thinking in our in a properly private education system, in a culture of reason, in a culture of enlightenment. We would see people who are not so emotionally driven, who are not so tribal, who are not so absolutely out of their freaking mind. So I am offering you the key, the map to Atlantis, and all I get in return is hatred, racism, and more racism.
Okay, so Rucka, when do you run out of steam given this uphill battle fighting all of these heathen who are in this country subverting its core values?
When do I run out of steam?
Yeah. I mean, it's a thankless task.
When does Michael Jordan get tired of playing baseball? I don't know.
Well, I think the best thing we can do is just continue to showcase their facade that they've created. None of them showed up to the casino. 15 showed up to the after party. That needs to be reported more. We need to start talking about that, because these are just empty threats, and it's sad because it did scare away some of our friends from wanting to show up, and we really wanted them there, and I understand. Like I said, I totally get it. Just imagine
if you guys and all of the other speakers there had moral confidence. Imagine if you didn't agree with these protesters' moral premises. Imagine if you weren't granting them the moral high ground the way that you do. Imagine if you actually believed in individualism, in reason as an absolute. Imagine if you believed in rational selfishness as a virtue. Wouldn't it be amazing to be able to answer these people on the stage that they've handed you? Wouldn't it be amazing to be able to tell them what you do stand for? And to actually be able to put them in their place.
Rucka,
wouldn't that be something?
I have no cluster bombs, okay?
But we do.
So it's very difficult.
But we do that.
To exact maximum damage.
We do that, and we also invite them to speak, and they refuse to. We invite them in, and they refuse it. So, I mean, what do you do?
I resent the implication that we are lumped into the same moral hierarchy as them.
Yeah.
You've made them possible.
We've made them possible. We are the haters.
Oh.
We've promoted Carl Benjamin, who makes those.
No, that's
possible.
not what I mean. I don't mean because you booked Sargon, you deserve the hate. I mean your pragmatism, your skepticism, your lack of commitment to principle is what gives these people A, the moral high ground, and B, they were born from your tradition. The pragmatists of the early 20th century are what gave birth to the postmodernists.
Okay.
Interesting.
Rucka, I have a question.
It is interesting.
You're out there on your soapbox, multiple soapboxes, and you're preaching your philosophy, which, hey, more power to you. And like I said, I tend to agree the vast majority of the time with you.
I tend to agree.
Yeah. So that's your life. You're you're a creator. You're a self-made man. Mazel tov to everything you've done. Now, am I to believe that every person who doesn't live your life, who doesn't go out there and actively preach objectivism, is all of a sudden part of the problem? Because that's the read. That's the
not
read
everybody.
that I'm getting.
I'm saying people who actively advocate for not the irrational, the people who actively are pushing pragmatism instead of reason, the people who actively are pushing for skepticism when reason is available.
I mean,
yes, they are paving the way. This is what happens.
Explain what you mean.
You think you're some impartial observer. This is how history unfolds. It's thinking men like you that have the truth in front of them but are choosing to be afraid.
When you say
choosing, we're definitely choosing not to be afraid.
When you say pushing, are you talking about my Twitter presence? Are you talking about when I go outside and yell into the heavens? Like, how am I pushing the narrative of the enemy?
I don't know if I haven't really seen much out of you recently.
Correct.
I think,
exactly.
You've just been busy promoting Andrew Yang last time we spoke. Other than that,
and I do from time to time, but there are no objectivist candidates who I actively agree with. So when forced,
Is that why? Is that why you want to put every citizen in this country on welfare? Is that why? Because no objectivists are running?
Rucka, the next time that you are next to Vermin Supreme on the ballot, okay, I will vote for you. I promise you that. In any election that you're possibly in. Now,
well, let me tell you something.
To date, I haven't really seen any candidates, so I think if you were living your dream and living your objective Aristotelian reality, not only would you have a 1.3 million YouTube subscriber channel, you would also be on the ballot as a candidate. I'm just saying.
I thought he was speaking.
If what? What do I need to do?
You'd be on the ballot. You'd be a candidate.
Yeah.
I would vote
put me
for
on
you.
that ballot? What is it?
I would vote for you.
That would be. Oh, I thought you were saying if I do such and such, I'll be on the ballot.
No, I'm saying if you really, really lived this reality and you wanted to, instead of just bad-mouthing, the sheeple that are just surviving in society, you would actually go out there and give them a candidate. You either find one.
I am the most benevolent and sympathetic
you are.
voice of the sheeple, of the people. I am the guy telling you it's not their fault. I'm the one pointing to the elitists. I'm the one pointing to the intellectuals. By insulting you, I am complimenting you. I'm saying you're one of the intellectuals.
No,
That's
I'm saying,
I'm saying the people were never given an option.
Let me live out this dream. Give me a candidate, or you run yourself, or talk to your fucking protege who you're on constantly with. Whatever his name is, I can't remember now.
I don't know. Who's my protege?
Fucking what is he? Half Asian or something?
No.
Huh?
What?
Half Italian? I can't remember.
Dreadmere?
Dreadmere's Mexican.
No, not Dreadmere. The objectivist who you're constantly fucking
Charles too?
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, he gave some opinions about me. Some would call throwing under the bus. Others would say giving a well thought out rational opinion. He decided I'm not his cup of tea anymore.
Jesus
this
Christ.
Rucka.
You were,
well, we still love you.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
So he's not going to be running for president, in other words.
So our producer.
Fuck that guy then.
Our producer today actually has to go to work soon, so we gotta wrap this up, unfortunately.
Oh shit, son.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll just say if you work hard and you're honest, you will have an objectivist candidate someday.
No.
Someone's got to take the
can-
bull by the balls.
No.
I left a few steps of the.
Yeah, you got a self-funded campaign. Let's go, Rucka.
We're gonna. Yeah, you guys can talk about that off air. Rucka, we love you. Thanks for helping us advertise this event. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of really awesome people there. Did we lose him again?
No, he just fucking hung up on him. Garrett Mayer's gonna write in Rucka 2020.
We'll call him back. All right. Thanks everyone for joining us. We should be more active now. This is great. The Skype music's back.
What do you want?
What? Just go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we should.